President of this goal, you have worked selflessly for the past 10 years to help move this project forward and keep all of us on our toes and working to make it a reality. This is a very, very exciting day for Roosevelt Island and for our city and for our state. This is the first standalone monument in our great state and city for President Roosevelt. It's not a highway or a house, but it really speaks to his ideals and his leadership. So it's tremendously important. I couldn't help but think when I was sitting here that whenever there are promotional materials for the city of New York, they always put a picture of the tram. And I predict in the future there's going to be a picture of this beautiful, inspirational site. And so it is truly a time to thank all the residents and everyone who has made this possible. And it would not have happened without the cooperation of the federal, state, and city government officials, many of whom are with us today. My colleagues in government, Borough President Scott Stringer, Senator Jose Serrano, State Senator, Assemblyman Micah Kellner, Councilwoman Jessica Lappin, who has made this a top priority of her efforts on the City Council, and representing also this area in Manhattan, Dan Garotnig. I'd also like to recognize the Jewish congregation's Rabbi Liana Morit, who will be speaking shortly. But every project has to have a leader. And our leader, our North Star for over 40 years, has been Ambassador Vanden Heuvel. He was here. He's the only person here who was here when we named it. And he has kept it in front of this city, in front of all of us for 40 years. And I would say dedicated the majority of his time for the past 7 years to turn this vision into a reality. He has raised over $54 million from the private sector. 70% of the funding came from the private sector, with Ambassador Vanden Heuvel and Sally Menard and Vice President and board member Kathy Sloan working to make that happen. That is a remarkable, remarkable achievement. We're so proud of you. Thank you for what you've done. This nation, this city, we're all indebted to you. And Gina Pollara. Louis Kahn was a brilliant architect, probably the best of his time, but the one that took his vision and turned it into a reality, keeping true to his designs, was Gina, and we thank you. I want to note that Louis Kahn, when he died, he collapsed literally in the train station of the Pennsylvania train station. And on him, when he died, were the plans for this beautiful site. So it shows how important it was to him in that he thought that it was so important to be built. And although they are not with us today, we must recognize and thank our great senators, Schumer and Gillibrand, and our outstanding Governor Cuomo, who is not only going to make this a state park, which is important, because it brings a state funding stream of roughly $450,000 a year to operate it. Not enough, but we are deeply grateful for his leadership and support for it. And I especially want to thank the residents of Roosevelt Island. Believe me, you're an important part of having anything happen here. And sometimes it's not what you accomplish, it's what you stop. Aren't we proud that we don't have that hotel and more buildings here, but this beautiful open space. And I can tell you, when they tried to take away our post office, remember that? We can't have a post office. I said, well, how in the world can you not have a post office when one of the most important monuments in the whole country is going to be here and everybody's going to want to mail a postcard from here, right? So we saved our post office with the help of this wonderful site. And a big selling card when they were trying to decide where the new high-tech center would be, what's the location. Who wouldn't want to have it next to the Four Freedoms Park? Think of how the students are going to be inspired. Think of the beauty. It was really one of the reasons that Roosevelt Island was selected for what I think is the most important economic development and investment project in our great city for our young people and for the future of diversifying our economy. The Four Freedoms Park will be beautiful and a welcoming open space honoring the historic legacy of a president's inspirational leadership which guided America's greatest generation through the Great Depression and the events of World War II. Standing in this beautiful spot, we are less than a mile away from the home where he plotted and sought the presidency of the U.S., and across the river, the FDR Drive has long been the public commemoration of one of America's greatest presidents and one of our greatest heroes. In Louis Kahn's design, we finally have a memorial that does justice to President Franklin Roosevelt's vision for the people and which evokes the permanence of his influence over our great nation. I hope that this day we can all rededicate ourselves to the ideals which President Roosevelt instilled in our national soul through his powerful leadership. The ideals of the four essential human freedoms that President Roosevelt charged us to work for everywhere in the world. Now, as we recover from the worst economic disaster since the Great Depression, the economic advisor to the president, Christina Romer, says the economic shocks in this recession were 3 times greater than the shocks in the Great Depression. But let us remember President Roosevelt and that generation, remember their strength, their common sacrifice, and their dedication to both the well-being of this union and the common humanity of all people. Let us remember their commitment to and from his important speech on the 4 freedoms, equality of opportunity, to ending special privilege for the few, and to the preservation of civil liberties for all. If each time we come to this place, we can rededicate ourselves to our true destiny and apply social values more noble than mere monetary profit, then we can make this memorial a living testimonial to FDR's vision, a monument of which he could truly be proud, a living tribute. And standing at this southern tip of this park, looking out at the natural beauty and vastness of New York Harbor, and surrounded by the human majesty of New York's skyline, I know that every one of us, when we visit here, can aspire to President Roosevelt's lofty goals. But when I come here, and I think when many people come here, they're going to think about what goals they can have in their life that are as meaningful, as deep, and as important as the goals that he gave to us. What can we each do to make this country a better place for all people, more secure, more just, more fair, with greater opportunities? But mostly I want to congratulate everyone who were part of this great effort, one that combines useful open space with the best of American idealism. Thank you.